Scream is back with the 6th installment. And did this movie make you want to scream? Make you want to scream? Oh, wait. That's the wrong Scream. But you can't tell me that song isn't still hot to this day. You stop pressuring me. Stop pressuring me. Let me stop before I get strike. And welcome to my safe haven. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another review here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. But if this is your first time checking out my channel, you're not joining me for another review, you're joining me for a first review. Let me introduce myself. Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. And I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk superheroes, video games, comic books, action movies, horror movies, animated movies, I said action already, sci-fi, fantasy, and of course I like to talk about black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you're interested in, do me a favor. Come on over, slide your cursor over to that little subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, check out the other videos, watch the other videos for the watch time, because watch time is king here on YouTube. And then also, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button on this video, because it'll help with the YouTube algorithm, getting this video out there, my channel out there. Hit the like button on the other videos. If you're catching me on a live, hit the like button for the live. Just regardless of whatever video you see me on, hit the like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But with that said, we are here to talk about Scream 6. It is obviously the 6th installment in the Scream franchise, and technically the 2nd installment in this new trilogy of Scream requels. If you've seen Scream 5, these are the requels. And so this movie sees the return of Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera, Courtney Cox, Mason Gooding, and Jasmine Savoy Brown. And if you saw the trailers, you saw fan favorite Kirby Hayden Panettiere is returning to this franchise, more than likely because they couldn't get Neve Campbell back for the sequel because they didn't want to pay her what she was asking for. Trash, pay Neve Campbell her money. But let's talk about Scream 6 non-spoiler review, because the movie officially comes out today. 4 survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage. And at first, this movie had me a little nervous because yes, I did really enjoy Scream 5, and you could actually check out my review for that from last year or whatever year it came out. I think it was last year. So yeah, click the link up here, check that out. But the reason I was nervous regarding this movie is because, like, when I instantly see like Scream goes to New York, Ghostface goes to New York, I instantly thought of Jason Takes Manhattan, and that movie was garbage. That movie was booty. That movie was hot dookie water. And so I was just like, oh no, they're about to do this with Scream. But suffice to say, like, I love this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Spoiler alert, if you just watched my Creed review that I just uploaded not even 2 hours ago, and you watched the video to the end, which I hope you did, watch time. Again, YouTube loves watch time. But I did already say that Scream 6 is now my favorite movie of the year. So let's get into it. Like, obviously, like the Scream franchise, I've always really enjoyed the Scream franchise. The only one I would say was the weakest one for me was Scream 3, but even with Scream 3, there was still some things that I loved. For the most part, for a series and a franchise that has been going on for so many decades and to have so many different parts, there isn't really a bad Scream movie. There, obviously, in the rankings of them, there's gonna be a Scream movie that's gonna end up on the bottom, but even the one that's on the bottom isn't terrible. And so a lot of that just goes into the strength of the writing and the depictions and the meta commentary of Scream. And then also with that, like, even though all the Screams have been rated R, like, out of all the Screams, you know, I love my blood, sex, gore, and magic. And so this movie was the most bloody and gory and brutal, I would say, out of all the Scream movies. Like, the Ghostface in this movie, did not come to play. Like, we're like, oh, we're gonna take this movie and put it in a bigger setting. We're gonna put it in New York. So we're gonna make these killings like graphically brutal. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I love it. Yes. Oh, that's terrible. Yes, I love it, but it's terrible. And you just felt so many like the Ghostface moments in this movie. I was just like, oh my God, I think I'm getting a boner because of how sexy, how sexy the horror-esque moments that are happening in this movie are. And not only just that, but like, while watching the movie, at a certain point, I did predict who Ghostface was. But then even in that predicting and being proven right, I was still wrong. And you'll understand more of what I mean by that when you see the movie. But like, don't go in expecting you think you know where this movie's gonna go. And funny enough, after the movie was over, I went back and watched with a friend of mine, like all the theories and conspiracies and tweets regarding the movie. And I'm just like, yeah, most of y'all are just wrong. And they're like making these videos like they're 100% right. Like this is the source to go. And I'm like, nah, you think it's back to those MTV Diary days. You think you know, but you have no idea. And of course, this wouldn't be a Scream movie without the meta commentary on pop culture and just horror movies in general, which you had, obviously, if you've seen Scream 5, with Jasmine Savoy Brown's Mindy's character, who's the niece of Randy from Screams 1 and 2. And I just love like the almost kind of peeling behind the wall, fourth wall commentary regarding the state of horror movies now that they inject in these movies. Like, it just makes the Scream movies just that much better because it does a great job of showing you those typical tropes that you've gone to see in movies and that you're expecting to see in those movies, giving you some of those tropes, but then at the same time, throwing a lot of those tropes out of the window keeping those same tropes, but then doing something very interesting that you've never seen before and thinking that you were going to see in a standard Scream movie. It's like, okay, by this point, this is the sixth Scream movie. I've seen Scream 5. Okay, I kind of know what to expect with this movie. And then you get to the reveal or just certain reveals and you're just like, oh, nope. Again, you think you know, but you have no idea. And also a sad thing to say, and I kind of said this again, or I kind of said this the first time when I was talking about Creed, where like I mentioned that Creed 3, this was the first movie that Sylvester Stallone, Rocky wasn't in. And the same thing with Scream. Scream 6, this is the first Scream movie that Neve Campbell, Sidney Prescott does not show up in. And while it would have been great to see Sidney in this movie, and I would have loved to see Sidney in this movie, especially when you got Courtney Cox's Gale Weathers come back. With the way they made the story, I was like, I guess, and with it taking place in New York and not her hometown of Woodsboro, I was like, I guess it kind of makes sense for Sidney not to show up. And then also being that this movie was so good, and that the reason she wasn't in this movie is because they didn't want to pay her. And I'm like, because this movie was so good, and I feel like this movie's gonna make a lot of money, to me, that's just gonna justify the producers saying that we don't need you. And I hate to say, like, you kind of don't. I hate to say that as a Scream fan, but this movie kind of proved it. You're following the new characters of Tara, Sam, Mindy, and Chad, the core four. The new Scream, like kind of how like Star Wars was, where you had the original trilogy with Luke, Han, and Leia, and then you had the sequel trilogies with Finn, Poe, and Rey, even though don't get me started on those trilogies. The sequel, I'm like, they need to just reboot and retcon the whole thing. But don't reboot and retcon the sequel trilogy or the requels for Scream, because so far, again, Scream 6, my favorite movie of the year. Also in this movie, you got newcomer Josh Segarra, who most people know is one of the lawyers from She-Hulk. He was also one of the villains in season 5 of Arrow. I really liked his character, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. And of course, getting to see the return of Kirby, Hayden Panettiere, and what she's been up to since Scream 4. Now she's an FBI agent. Everything that she went through in Scream 4 made her want to become a hunter of killers. And so it was cool to see her interacting again with Gale and these new cast of characters and how she fits into this whole narrative of figuring out who is Ghostface. And the one thing that they do tell you in this movie, being that it is a requel, a franchise, nobody's safe. So legacy characters, new characters, it does not matter. You do not know who is going to get got. Everybody is on the table. And so the whole time watching the movie, you're predicting and you're trying to figure out, you're like, oh my God, this person's gonna go. Oh my God, this person's gonna go. Oh my God, this person's gonna go. And you're just like waiting for it to happen and waiting for it to happen. And again, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, I feel like I'm already saying too much without saying anything, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. And the whole fun is trying to guess and figure out what's happening. And so to avoid not saying too much, I'm just gonna end the review right here and just be, and like I said, I really love this movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie was brutal. Ghostface, he definitely cemented himself. I mean, even more so before this movie, but after this movie, the character and the figure of Ghostface definitely cemented themselves on like the pantheon of horror murderers, like with Jason and Michael Myers and Chucky, etc. So yeah, like I said, right now, Scream 6 is my favorite movie of the year. I cannot wait. And I think they already announced Scream 7 is coming, which, I mean, duh, it's gonna be a new trilogy. So I'm excited about Scream 7. Again, I do hope Nev comes back, but now at this point, I'm like, I don't think it would hurt me if she doesn't, but we'll see, we'll see. I definitely think she should be paid considering what she's brought to this franchise, but yeah, we'll see. But the question is, have you guys seen Scream 6? Let me know what you thought about it. And I would say now my rankings for the Scream movies will be Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 6, Scream 4, Scream 5, and Scream 3. So with that said, let me know your rankings of the Scream franchise in the comment section below. Let me know if you like this movie more than Scream 5. Let me know all of your thoughts regarding Scream in the comment section below. Also, if you can, if you wanted to know where you can rewatch all the Scream movies, which I recently did, they're now currently all on Paramount Plus. But anyway, with that said, let me know all of your thoughts. Also, if you can, hit that like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm. Let your friends, families, and neighbors know about my channel to help me continue to grow. Tell your friends, families, and neighbors, all that stuff. And hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. I will actually be going live this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk spoilers for Scream 6. So make sure you come over to the live stream. Hopefully you've seen it by then, but if not, you can check out the replay. So yeah, bell notification button. Or I just told you, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, Sunday night, which is, what is that, the 11th, I think, or the 12th? So yeah, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.